Welcome on into Warchant TV. You know everybody on the screen, hopefully. If not, our names are conveniently placed right below us. And if you don't know our names, it's probably because you're not a member of Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. What you're waiting for, use that promo code Warchant30 for 30 free days of access. And maybe also hit that thumbs up like button so that you can spread the word, the gospel of the Noles to other fans on the internet. Gentlemen, we've got one game in the books of the Mike Norvell era, and we are human beings after all, so there's a little bit of reactionary instinct to all of us, but we're also objective journalists. So we need to kind of combine these two things, look at it from a very 5,000 feet above level view, if you will, of where this program is currently. So we're going to play a little fun game that the kids like to call in the streets. Corey, you know this one. It's called Hold or Fold. So basically, we're going to talk about each segment group. You guys are going to make your case for whether or not we need to hold, stay patient, not be reactionary, or maybe fold and think that, hey, we need to change some things very much so to get this program, at least at that position group, back on track. And then you guys will each vote on whether or not you think that's the right call. So with that said, the easiest way to show you how this game works is to actually go ahead and play it. Begin with you, Gene, the offensive line. New offensive line coach, 3 new pieces on the offensive line that started. Hold or fold, the Florida State offensive line.
You know, I'm going to take, we're supposed to, the rules, I think we're supposed to go all in on one hand, right? So believe it or not, I got my chips piled up. I'm pushing them all in on the offensive line. Never thought I'd say that. Now,
Wow.
let me explain why I'm doing that. Okay. You got to look at when the offensive line was healthy on Saturday. I mean, these guys actually played pretty well. Then all of a sudden the injuries happen. Chaz Neal comes in, and we know what happened in the second half. James Blackman was not sacked in the first half. They had one of the highest passing grades they've had in a long time. Pass blocking grade was 76 according to Pro Football Focus. To put that in perspective, last year it was 51. So they dramatically outperformed in that department. I think when those 5 guys are healthy, I think Atkins has them doing the right things. They look like they're hungry. I think they're going to be a viable – now I'm not saying they're going to be a good offensive line, but considering they were arguably the worst offensive line in college football, the fact that they could be average this year – and the numbers outside the injuries, if you take away when the injuries didn't happen, they were performing at an average or above average level. So I think they can maintain that and get better as the season goes on. So I'm all in on the offensive line.
Irish, are you holding or are you folding on the offensive line?
I'm going to hold. I don't think I could go all in, but I like Gene's points. I do think they might want to tweak as the season goes on, maybe get in Thomas Schrader and Robert Scott, get them more involved. But I'm at least holding, which is a big difference from last year. I don't know if I'm all in, though.
Corey Clark, hold or fold?
Yeah, it depends on what the bet is. I feel like right now we're holding like a suited connectors, like a 9-8 or a 7-6, and like, if it's not too big, if the bet's not too big, I'll hang around and see what happens. I think we'll have a much better idea after the Miami game. I don't think Georgia Tech's great up front. They still couldn't get any really run blocking lanes. They were better in pass pro, but how could they be worse? I still think at best it's average, and that's at best. And what really concerned me is, what do you do? I mean, injuries happen, and I don't like anybody that they brought in after the starters. None. Brady Scott, Chaz Neal, name them. They didn't do a good job. Babion switching to center, that didn't work.
But they didn't have Schrader or Robert Scott.
Yeah, those guys are coming in next, Corey, not the guys you mentioned.
Yeah, but they're still true freshmen that we don't know about. So that's why I'm conservative by nature. So if anybody bets into me, I'm folding the offensive line. I have not seen enough to think that my 7-8 Hurts is going to be good enough to win.
So you're calling the big blind. You just don't want to.
Big blind, but if somebody raises it, no chance.
I'm following Gene's suit. No pun intended. I'm going all in on the offensive line. I mean, we wanted them to look average. They looked average. Yeah. Some of their key reserves there, so they're going to get better. So I'll go all in with the offensive line, believe it or not. Let's talk about the linchpin of this whole thing. That's a quarterback position. James Blackman started the game, played most of it. Jordan Travis came in for a spell. Tate Rodemaker did not see action. Chubba Purdy remains injured. We'll go to you now, Ira. This quarterback position, we can't say maybe just James Blackman. I think we'd all know where we stand on that. But that group as a whole, even though we only saw 2 of them, where do you stand right now with the quarterbacks, hold or fold?
Well, I'm going to go at it from a little bit different angle. I think that there's potential to hold with the position overall, but I got to fold on James Blackman. I'm ready to move on. I just maybe he starts against Miami and give him a chance. And if he plays really well, then give him another chance and go forward. But at the first sign of real trouble, or if things start spiraling again, I just don't think the rest of the players on this team can continue to believe in him when they've seen what they've seen the last few times they played. We all talk about the bowl game last season, and what we just saw against Georgia Tech. But in that Florida game last year, he started off that Florida game like 4 for 4 for like 70 yards. And I think he threw for like 80 or 90 yards the rest of the game. And he took 8 sacks. I just don't think I don't think the players will believe in him if he continues to struggle. So I think I'm folding on James Blackman, but I think there's potential at that position if Chuba Purdy comes back healthy, if Tate Rodemaker picks things up as quickly as it sounds like he is. But as far as right now, I'm folding on James Blackman. I think there's potential at the position, but I'm folding on James Blackman.
Corey, you have anything different that would veer off maybe into the hot take category on that? Or are you going to go nice in Switzerland on us?
No, I agree wholeheartedly with Ira.
All in. You're all in on Ira, but you're folding on James Blackman.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Gene Williams, quarterback position. You hold and you fold, and you agree with Ira's assessment.
I agree with Ira's assessment, except I'll take it a step further. I'm folding on the whole position. And to continue the poker analogy, the hand Florida State's been dealt. A story you'll see that's going to be out either late Sunday or Monday morning. You may watch it. We talked, myself and Michael Langston have a video. We're talking depth about the quarterback position. I've got a write-up on it. Between what Jimbo Fisher did at the end of his tenure and between Willie Taggart just refusing to sign a quarterback for 2 years, Florida State's in a horrific position right now. So you're saying maybe it'll be okay if one of the freshman that's hurt, that's missing a month, is suddenly going to come in midseason and rise that position. I mean, that would be great, but I think you're hoping more than being realistic. So I think this is just going to be a push at quarterback this season. You're going to wait till next year. You've recruited well. I think it'll improve dramatically in 21 and 22. But for now, this is a complete fold for me.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and parrot everything Ira said. I agree with that. James Blackman, I'm probably going to have to fold on you. And I'm going to hold tightly to Chuba Purdy being able to be that sort of spark plug to get this whole thing turned around, because that's the easiest way back for Florida State is if a quarterback can execute their job. Wide receiver position that we had high hopes for. You had two very speedy, lengthy, dynamic guys on the perimeter. Both of them let you down with costly drops in the ball game. One of them's a preseason All-American, so hopefully he bounces back. Corey Clark, when you look at this wide receiver position, are you holding or folding after what you saw Saturday against Georgia Tech?
Oh, I'm definitely not folding. It does on offense, and there's not a lot. It has by far the most talented, most productive player on the offense in Tamarian Terry. He dropped a pass that wasn't great. I think that Keyshawn Helton is a good player. I think Pokey Wilson's a good player. I'm not sure about Warren Thompson, but he certainly has all the physicals. And look, it's hard to judge that position. Now, you can judge the drops, and that's fine. That makes sense. Excuse me. But when it comes to that position, man, it sure helps when you have somebody that can throw the ball to them and get them the ball. And though I think they have plenty of talent there, I think they have one of the most talented guys in the country. So I'm definitely holding. If you folded on the wide receivers, then you have to fold on everything. Like Tamarian Terry has proven himself. The other guys haven't. Keyshawn Helton, to an extent, before he got hurt, was a playmaker. But I think moving forward, those two guys are guys you can count on to make plays.
Hey, now are you holding? Are you holding, or are you going all in? Because we have to go all in on one position.
I don't know, man. If we have to go all in, then yeah, what am I going to do? Save it for running back? But I'm going all in with like pocket sevens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a decent hand. I might get somebody to fold, but if somebody has ace king, it's a coin flip. If they have nines, I'm beat.
Corey, you're bluffing, buddy.
So it's not a bluff. It's pocket sevens. It's not a bad starting hand. But the other guys haven't proven as much to me. But I guess I'll hold / go all in on the wide receivers. I think they will play much better. I also think it's really hard to judge when you have a quarterback that maybe doesn't get them the ball on time.
We had a testing peer group, and they said that they wanted to be Corey in the corner, but we couldn't corner Corey into getting one single answer. That would not work. That would be too much to ask for Corey. What do you think about the wideouts, Jane, or at least maybe Corey's argument about him?
No, I wouldn't go all in, obviously, but I know we have to in this. It's a definite hold. Like you said, there's two receivers I think that are pretty proven. It really comes down to Warren Thompson. I mean, he got open. He's a big, athletic, fast guy. If he can just catch the ball, the unit's going to be pretty darn good. But man, I think that's a one-off with Cherry, that drop. We don't see that very often, but I think Warren Thompson needs to get rid of the dropsies, and then they'll be pretty good.
Ira, your thoughts on the wideouts?
I'm torn. I mean, I'm going to go all in with the wide receivers. I wanted to save it for the running backs, just because it's the classic debate. I mean, I think the running backs could be more dependable. I think the receivers are going to be a little bit up and down. But Corey's right. I mean, there is more talent there than any other position on offense, and I do think they'll respond to what happened in that game. They had to be embarrassed by what happened on Saturday. They're going to Miami in their next game out. You know they're going to want to step up and prove themselves. I'm sure Ron Dugans has been challenging them this week, and the talent is there. So I'm going to go all in with the wide receivers. I'm going to try to have a better poker face than Corey as I go all in, though.
Yeah.
And I'm confidently going all in with my wide receiver pick. Just hoping nobody calls.
Well, here goes nothing, and push my chips in. Hope I don't get called.
All right, let's talk about the rest of the backfield then. The running backs, LaDamian Webb and Ja'Shawn Corbin, were the ones that handled the rock for Florida State Saturday. We did not see Lawrence Toafili. We did not see Corey Wren. So maybe there's a little bit left to be interpreted from that position. I'll hold just because I feel if I'm going to go all in on this offensive line, things are going to open up a little bit better for this run game. And I do feel the run game will be much more emphasized against Miami. I like LaDamian Webb. I mean, I know both the guys. I mean, look at the numbers. They both averaged 3 yards per carry. I think Corbin had 9 carries, maybe 6, and Webb had 13. So I think Webb might actually be the guy that emerges ahead of Corbin, which I think a lot of us thought that maybe Corbin would be the bell cow guy. But I'll hold tight. I'll hold firm to these running backs. What do you say, Ira?
Yeah, I'm where Corey was before. I'm going to call the big blind. So I'll hold. I'm assuming nobody's going to bet big. I don't get the vibe anybody at the table is going with a big bet here. So I'll hold with them, but I'm not convinced. I mean, I'm concerned about that position. I think it's a drop off from what we've seen in a long time, really, from Florida State running back. You think back to a couple of years ago where they had Dalvin Cook and Cam Akers, or Cam Akers and Jaquez Patrick, and then 5 stars on the bench. You just don't see. We didn't see any signs of that elite talent. But I'll hold with them. I do think they're going to be dependable, and I think Mike Norvell is going to figure out better ways to use them. And if they get better quarterback play and offensive line play, that's certainly going to help them. So I'm going to hold them, but a little bit lukewarm.
Gene, hold or fold running backs?
Even with Ira there, I think I'm going to have to hold pat on what I've seen. Look, there's no Dalvin, there's no Cam Akers. We knew that going in. There were some signs there. I like Corbin out of the backfield. This is a new wrinkle I think we see more with Mike Norvell being able to catch the ball, and I think he did a really nice job getting out in space and making some catches. And I think the most talented guy we've yet to see much, and that's Toafili. I think by midseason, he may be the guy that takes over this position. So I think there's some optimism for down the road. So I'm going to hold. I think they'll be all right.
I mean, tight end, I don't know if there's enough to really discuss there, but I think we're all pretty pleased with how Cam McDonald played. I'll hold on to him.
Oh, I don't get to offer an opinion on the running back.
Oh, sorry, Corey, my bad. I mean,
see how it is. No. Can I hold Aslan?
Spin it, man. Go for it.
I'm holding Aslan. It's ridiculous. What kind of host is this? I guess I didn't really need to offer an opinion. I'm going to kind of echo what they say. I will say this, though. I'm definitely holding them if they get a mobile quarterback in there. I think that opens up everything for those running backs. They really had not a ton of lanes to run through in the opener. And I like the way Corbin ran hard, which was good on short yardage. We can't just shrug our shoulders or kind of dismiss the fact that they picked up a bunch of 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, because he runs hard and he leans forward and gets to the yard marker. And then, Webb for a first college game, he showed a little something. He wasn't special, but that doesn't mean he can't be special. And I think with those 2 guys, along with Toafili, who we haven't seen much of, who showed a real burst, and I think there's enough potential there. I don't want to just be too reactionary after one game to say, well, they're not Cam Akers, so let's scrap the hand. I think there is a potential there to be a nice combination of players at running back. So I'm holding. I'm just checking.
All right. What about Cam McDonald, Corey?
Yeah.
We're going to end up holding on the whole offense that just scored 13 points against Georgia Tech. Is that how we're going to do it?
We folded on the quarterback.
Well, that's a big position. I got to hold on him. I thought he had the great catch down the middle. He had another first down catch. He did have the best catch of the day, best play of the day on offense. I don't know how well he blocked. and I don't know how well he can block. So in its man, there's no depth, and that's an issue. I guess I'll hold because Cam McDonald's pass catching ability intrigues me, but that's the only reason I'm not folding it at all. I mean, that's not. I would. It would be an auto fold if it wasn't for his ability to catch passes.
Gene, tight ends, Cam McDonald, really.
Well, that's the thing about it. I mean, yeah, I think he can be a viable component in the passing game. We saw those. Corey said maybe the best catch of the day, but my issue is the tight end, half of the position is blocking. I don't think I tried to pull up the grades. I didn't see it offhand what his grade was, but I probably wasn't very good blocking. And that goes back to losing Jordan Wilson. What a huge injury that was, because that was your prototypical guy who could maybe run some routes, but also was a good blocker. When you got an offensive line that's struggling, man, you need that tight end to stay in there sometimes and block a little bit. So I'm borderline fold. I guess I'll hold on it just because I think he can be very viable in the pass catching game. So what was this grade there? 51.7. Is that the pass block?
That is correct.
That's not what you do if you're a tight end. You need to block.
No, that's his run blocking. I apologize.
Okay.
That was his run blocking, 51.7.
That's actually not a bad grade. Okay, so all right.
We're holding. Come on, Aaron.
I'm going to hold. He's convinced me. I'm holding now.
Jump aboard, Aaron.
I'm going to hold. I was real impressed with Cam McDonald. I'd like to see him get more passes. Not only the big catch that set up the touchdown, but he also I thought had a couple of crucial, just catches in traffic. He looked really good. I liked him. I didn't see that much of his blocking, but during the game. But yeah, I was impressed by him as a pass catcher. It would be great if they had another really solid tight end. The Preston Daniel kid played okay as a true freshman walk-on, so I'll hold the tight ends.
That's a problem, though, that your backup is a true freshman walk-on. That's almost fold-worthy in and of itself. But if Cam McDonald stays healthy and he plays the majority of the snaps, then yeah, I think you like what you have, especially in one aspect of it. I mean, 51.7 run blocking ain't going to cut it. Not on the edge, not with this offense. But he could also get better.
There we go. A program with 3 national championships, 3 Heisman Trophy winners, 2 undefeated seasons. We're fine with 13 points on offense, everybody. Tune in next week, see what happens against Miami. We're going to go all over again tomorrow and talk about the defense. For Gene and Corey, thanks for watching.